Alright, finally an update. We have a lot to get through. At the end of last summer, I wanted to go through and address a bunch of small stuff that's been annoying me about the car. We finished refurbing the suspension, so now we're moving on to other areas. Since this car sat for over a decade, it's had a layer of grime on it that's been bonded to the paint, so now we're going to take care of that. We started with a quick wash using the 2-bucket method, and then we clay bar to get rid of all the contamination. Then I went through and did a paint correction. I didn't do an aggressive compound since this was my first time doing it. The next thing to address are the headlights that look like they've been sitting at the bottom of an aquarium. I masked around it and did some wet sanding with a drill that nicely dirtied up the car I just spent hours cleaning. After working our way up to 3000 grit, the last step is applying the polishing compound. When finished, we can see a side-by-side comparison. Next, we need to take care of these old cragged fog lights. We need to remove the splash guard under the front bumper, adjust them so they're pointing all the way down, and carefully pry at the plastic clip without breaking it. I found a replacement that looks like the OEM ones, but I needed more street cred, so I applied a yellow film to them. I had to use a heat gun to get the vinyl to nicely conform to the edges. On the topic of street cred, this ride height is still stock, and that simply will not cut at all my local shopping plazas. While driving, I've also had the issue of rear tires rubbing on bumps and any turns. Also, the way I fit the exhaust last time was not my best work. There's a new mystery coolant leak. There's an old mystery oil leak. The rear left brake doesn't contact the whole rotor. The shifter cable plastic support broke, so shifting into third gear feels like I'm mixing batter. And my dash still has a mid-2000s car audio museum piece. We start by removing the brake lights, rear bumper, and exhaust. We can see here that it's actually the seal on the oil pan that's leaking, so we can add resealing it to our list. We remove the strut mount bolts from the top, the bottom bolts attaching it to the knuckle, and pull out the strut. I decide to go with some stiffer lowering springs. My logic here is that the stiffness would help with the tire rubbing, and I haven't driven the car enough to feel what it actually needs for a more expensive setup. We compress the spring and remove the strut mount bolt. This allows us to remove the top hat and decompress the spring, install the new one, and torque down the top hat. We reinstall the strut and torque down the bolts. While doing the other side, I noticed that the spring's actually broken, so maybe that was part of the problem. Now we can adjust the fitment of the exhaust and install the other side. While everything was apart, I decided to powder coat the heat shield flat black. For the shifter cable, we modeled a new support to replace the plastic piece that broke. We 3D printed a test piece and it seemed like it was going to work with some tweaks. The goal here was to make the end of the shifter stiff again to be able to push on the shifter mechanism. While the next revision was being made, we can start on the front springs. Same process of removing the top and bottom bolts, compressing the springs, remove the top hat, install a new spring, put it together, and install the strut. While under the front of the car, I believe I just found the cause of the... While under the front of the car, I believe I just found the cause of the coolant leak. This old clamp rusted out, so we just replace it with a new one and hope that resolves it. Now, we can reinstall the bumper and taillights. I also finally remembered to glue down this rubber piece that's been driving me crazy. The support for the cable's done, and you can see we decided to make a clamp around the cable to provide the support. With the car back on its wheels, we can see the wheel gap is better, but unfortunately, it's still rubbing. I got the car driving and I was able to make it to a car show with some friends. The next deadline was actually in 2 days. I agreed to take a day drive with some friends, so back under the car, we need to adjust the leaky oil pan. We also need to work on this rear brake not doing its job. While the car was up, I also noticed a new leak, which suspiciously seemed like it was coming from the gas tank. I start with unbolting the oil pan, then carefully prying it off. With it removed, I noticed I almost gave it the GT86 treatment. We clean the mating surfaces between the pan and the block and reseal using Permatex Ultra Gray. I laid a bead down and carefully installed the oil pan. After getting a couple bolts, I noticed the dipstick tried to break itself out, which was extremely annoying. I cleaned up all the gasket sealer again, laid some new sealer, and then hand torqued it. The instructions said to let it cure overnight and then fully torque it, so that's what I did. I'm not sure if this is too much squeeze out or not, but we're gonna let it ride for now. Moving on to the brake, I realized that the master mechanic that installed this forgot to grease it. Hopefully that's the cause of this problem. I applied the grease to the sliding pin and where the pads sit, and then reinstalled everything. I also had the dust shield rattling on the other side, and the hack job solution I thought of was to put a little bit of silicone between the two surfaces. Inspecting the top of the gas tank, it looks like that's definitely the source of the leak. I removed the pump and housing by removing these bolts and unclipping the fuel lines. I had a new OEM fuel filter anyways, so this is as good a time as any. The pump and pickup need to be separated from the housing by unclipping the electrical connection, then prying it off the plastic retaining clips. The pump should just be able to push out of the filter. Then we just reinstall everything on the new filter housing. While it was out, I took them out and powder coated it black since it looked all rusty. Now we just reconnect the lines, bolt it down, and hope it doesn't leak anymore. I decided to buy coilovers to address the rear tires rubbing, so this was an exact example of do it right or do it twice. I went with K-Sport because they had the softest spring rate of all the mid-cost coilovers. I don't see myself driving this thing hard enough to wish I had stiffer suspension anytime soon. Personally, the trade-off for a stiff setup is not there for me right now. I made a rough guess at the heights and equaled them out. The process is the exact same as we saw earlier in the video. Also, it was 2 AM at this point, my buddies were showing up for a cruise at 6 AM, so I rushed through this and didn't get to film much. All that being said, since I had the audacity to think I could actually have fun with my project car, the shifter cable fully snapped on me. I had to get out of the car, pick a gear by hand on my way home, and parked in a garage, and it's been that way ever since. Oh, also while starting it during the winter, the bolts holding the alternator snapped. So next time, we're pulling the motor again. Thanks for watching.